Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we are looking at X-23 issue 1. This is by Mariko Tamaki with art by Juan Cabal. I don't know. Colorist Nolan Woodward. Letters VC's Corey Petit. And edited by Christina Harrington with assistant editor Annalisa Bisa. This is from the 2018 series. First page we get a recap of where X-23 comes from. That's okay. Can't complain about that too much. Then we get this big 2-page spread of her and this kid Gabby, which I think is Honey Badger, jumping or falling. And honestly, just glancing at them, I can't tell what gender they are. And they're fighting these guys that are stealing some sort of flash drive with genetic information on it. Alright, that seems kind of cool, at least potentially. But the fight scene is kind of drawn out, and the dialogue is horrible. So this Honey Badger kid is just obnoxious and irritating, and all of her dialogue is stupid. So then she starts talking about pretzels. Then we go over to Hank McCoy meeting with X-23 at the Xavier Institute, and that actually is like the lead in to the story. It's a little overly talkative, but it at least has potential. And then of course the kid's eating a pretzel, and they meet 3 girls. They call them the Cuckoos. They're like all Emma Frost clones, and there used to be 5 of them, but 2 of them died. Well, it's their birthday. Then there's a joke about clone power. I don't know what Marvel's obsession with cloning is, but it's really unhealthy. Didn't they learn anything from the terrible sales of Spider-Man Clone Saga? Which looks like a masterpiece compared to this garbage. They're just going way too overboard with clones. It's just so lazy. Well, then we cut to, of course, Gabby and X-23 eating at a diner, and this goes on for a couple pages, and they talk about food. And then we cut over to their apartment where they're talking about pointless crap, and Gabby has brass knuckles that say honey on it because she's the honey badger. Ha 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 ha. Then we get to the plot where apparently the Emma Frost clones have decided to clone their dead sisters. Then this missing scientist that was what Beast was telling X-23 about is apparently enthralled in their service to clone these 2 girls that were dead. That's kind of the gist of it right there. It's the general plot about the missing scientists and the cloning was actually not bad. I thought that had a lot of potential, but it was just so boring. And there were so many weird conversations about food in this. There's lots of food references. There's lots of talking about food, and while they're eating, they're having conversations that seem to be about nothing. So there's all these scenes with food. I don't understand that. What is this a commercial for? One of these like food channel things? I didn't understand the obsession with food. It really interrupted the flow of the storyline. If all that had been cut out, this would have been the beginnings of a coherent story, but I think she didn't know where to take this story or how to develop it, so her fallback is to insert food into everything. It was really obnoxious. The kid is really obnoxious too. I would get rid of that character completely. She's obnoxious in everything she's in. She doesn't talk like any kid I've ever met. I think this kid's like 10, maybe 11. I can't tell. The art is so difficult to understand because it doesn't show age lines. It's very haphazard and fast art style. There's a lot of 3D models in here and Google images being traced over. That's distracting from how the characters look and how simplistically they're drawn. This looks like it was thrown together very quickly. I would not recommend this. I thought it was boring. It's a good plot that was ruined by a bunch of nonsense that it completely detract from the potential of the plot. I don't intend on picking up issue 2. This was a big enough waste of money, and I would not recommend it. It was $5, and I would not have bought it if I knew that it was this terrible. So I do not recommend this one, and I'm not going to pick up future issues because I don't care that much about food or clones. And whatever decent nuggets of plot that are buried in here are not worth excavating. But that's just my take on it. As always, thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing so you don't miss future reviews. And we hope to see you on the next one.